It's ridiculous, really.
I'm speechless right now.
That's a huge number that we're talking about here, where you've got all of the ability to have not just choices, but go, okay, cool, I'm going to go on holiday for 6 months. You don't have to worry about any of that.
We are back in your life, and today we are presenting Rachel and Dion's financial plan. We are here for part 3 of the series. Guys, how we doing?
Oh yeah, excited for this one?
Yes.
So I got some bad news.
Oh no.
You're going to have to work not just for the rest of your life.
Oh, God.
But as I sure assume, you guys will enter heaven one day. You're going to keep working. We're going to work forever. No, I'm joking. The plan's not that bad. The plan does look quite good.
Man, James.
So before we jump into it, so I'm going to talk you through the plan today.
Yep.
Then I'm going to send you the plan because there's quite a bit here for you to digest afterwards. Before I get into it, is there anything that's, apart from, all the fame that you have, had to deal with since the first 2 episodes, which are performing very well, and thank you for everybody. I think, people are really enjoying this series. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast, give us a review and a like. Any questions, anything that's changed, anything you guys want to talk about up front?
No, I think the most interesting thing is that it came up at my work. So a few of my work colleagues have actually started following along, which is good and bad. Some of them just found out what I earn, so they were all in for a bit of a surprise there. But at the same time, they've all said it's really good to have someone who's actually speaking up about how money works, the money life, because generally it's just so secret and so quiet.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, if you want us to come and do a financial wellbeing session at your work, let us know because we'll come and do that as well.
Cool.
Okay, let's get into it. So disclaimer before we get into it, because it's really important. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my financial advice license. This is personalized advice for Rachel and Dion. This is not personalized advice for everybody. Even if you think my situation is really similar, there is so much nuance that means this might not be the right thing for you. So please do not run off and go and implement all of this. If you want to talk to a financial advisor, there'll be a link in the bio. We can have like a free 30-minute chat about your situation. But that is very, very important. We do not want people to run off and go and do this. So guys, let's go through your financial plan because there's quite a bit to go through. So what I'm going to do is take you through page by page of the plan.
Yeah.
As our viewers can see, we are in a different location today. We are in our boardroom because we need a screen to be able to go through the plan. So let's not muck around. Let's jump into it. And there is some, I tell you what, one of the set of predictions, Em doesn't like me saying this, I did double check like 3 times because this scenario really doesn't work. So let's get into it and have a look.
Sounds serious.
Okay, so a financial plan is quite a lengthy document. So it's good at the end of this when you go, what the hell did he want me to do? Yeah. Page 2. Page 1 says your name. Page 2 tells you what to do. So we've got 8 actions to work through, and we're going to go through these all in detail. We're going to maintain our budget of $115,000 a year with the help of PocketSmith, our sponsor. Thank you very much, PocketSmith. This includes spending $15,000 a year on travel.
Woohoo!
So I think you're spending less than $115,000 a year. Yep. I want you to have some memories. We don't know how many days we've got, so we want to enjoy them while we've got them.
Okay, cool.
Action 2, rest in peace, the Sharesies account. The Sharesies account is going to be sold down and to reduce your mortgage. Right. I do just want to say one thing, because I do hear from time to time going, oh, James, I know you hate Sharesies. Just for the record,
hate's a strong word.
Hate is a strong word. And your boy is full of love. There's no hate out there.
Yeah.
I don't hold resentment. And we've had Sonia, the co-founder of Sharesies, and I just saw the other day that their valuation's up to $750 million as a company. So they've done a lot of good stuff. My thing has got nothing to do with Sharesies. It's about people picking DIY investment solutions and investing in shares before they pay off their mortgage.
So like in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And Spark.
Yep. So step 3 is we're going to restructure your home lending, and only if I knew a good mortgage broker. Mike will do an episode with you where he's going to take you through your mortgage, and we're going to create, essentially, you've got $3,100 a month that you're going to have to put somewhere, and your offset's completely offset. So we need to increase it to be able to pay off that mortgage faster.
Okay, cool.
I did find, so we should say between the last filming, we did jump on a Zoom call because I had a few more follow-ups to work through. Your investment property is just like mixed in with all the other transactions.
Yeah.
It's just like a shuffled card deck, really. I at the end of each year, I just kind of go to my accountant and say, I sort of pull up my transactions, type in the address of the place, cut and paste, and quick calculator. Cool, and then fill in the entire form for them and send it through.
Yep.
It's great.
I thought you were going to say incredibly inefficient. So we're going to scrap that and get a separate bank account. Your accountant's going to love us much more because we're going to become your accountant. So rest in peace, the other accountant. The next action is we're going to purchase an investment property. We're going to talk about that a lot more. Engage with a solicitor to set up enduring power of attorney. So you've got a will, but you haven't got power of attorney in place.
No.
So that will be an action that we'll talk through. Transfer your KiwiSaver to the Pathfinder High Growth Fund. There's a lot of great KiwiSavers. We'll talk about why specifically that fund is right for Rachel and Dion. Might not be right for you.
Okay.
And then there is a whole bunch of people you need to go and talk to off the back of this to implement it. And it's actually probably a longer list than this because like you will still need to work with a lawyer for the property, work with a lawyer for the enduring power of attorney. There'll be quite a few follow-up episodes with other people who are probably not as funny as I am. So that is the actions of the plan. Then we've got the timeline going forward. So actions is what we're doing immediately. Timeline is things that are happening in the future. Obviously, a plan is based off projections, and the only guarantee is the projections will be wrong. But it's good to see how these things start to land. And my general rule with projections is you will get to the destination. It's just the way you get there will look different. So Lily starts intermediate school. We have factored in private school fees of $35,000 per annum for 6 years.
That's a lot.
You might decide to do this, you might not, but it's baked into the plan as an option. In 2028, in 3 years' time, you are mortgage free. And we're going to do a couple of things at that point. We're going to switch your investment property loans to principal and interest to start chipping away at that. Okay. And then we're also going to start regularly contributing to shares as well as the next phase. 2031, Dion, you have permission to reduce your income if you so please. So we did talk in the meeting that we had between podcasts. Essentially, we've gone from 100% income to 75% income to 50% income. Rachel, you're working. You just 100% every day,
I'm cool
obviously.
with it. I'm cool.
So you're going to, and that's an option, right? You actually might do different things or likely keep doing it. But the main thing that you said to us is I want options. So the plan shows you those options. And then at 65, you're all set. You don't need to work anymore.
Exciting in regards to sort of having those steps through there because you have these ideas in your head going, actually, this is when I think I want to be able to do this, but having a set date, you go, okay, I know on this day I'm going to be mortgage free. It'll be on your own personal property. That's kind of an exciting thought to have because so many people don't achieve that until they're 55, 60, if not after 65 and after retirement, which is both exciting to be free of that, but also frightening for those people who aren't.
Yeah, for sure. So, I think there's upside within this plan as well that's not factored in. One thing which hurts my brain thinking about it from a financial planning perspective is like if you grow your wealth to a certain point in 5 or 10 years' time, you're in a position where you can take advantage of opportunities that you can't even get your head around because you're so far away from them right now.
Yeah.
So the snowballing of the plan is not just in compounding interest, it's like compounding actions and being in a position to take bigger opportunities.
Cool.
This is the boring part, but very important for our compliance people out there. This is the scope of advice. So I have sent you the scope of advice. You have agreed and signed off the scope of advice. So very quickly, retirement and financial projections, KiwiSaver advice. Cash flow allocation is a very fancy way of saying, I have savings, where do I put it?
Yep.
Debt repayment, creating a roadmap to achieve your goals, budgeting advice with the assistance of our friends at Pocketsmith, and investment property projections. Now, it's very different from investment property advice. We go, here are the different options. Here are the financial projections based off the assumptions. This thing gets you closer or further away from your goal, opposed to buy this specific house because it's the best house.
Yeah.
Things we're not doing right now that we do for other clients is investment portfolio advice, which is we build you a portfolio of shares to regularly invest into.
Okay.
Rachel, why are we not doing that now?
Because we have a mortgage.
Good job, Rachel. Insurance, so we do a lot of insurance and plans. I think considering that we're trying to, I think it would be best to work with one of our insurance advisors specifically for that. So we'll do that as a follow-up episode.
Awesome.
Okay.
Things I don't do, mortgage broking because Mike does it, legal advice, business coaching advice, tax, general insurance. But if you need help in any of those areas, I'll tell you to go talk to somebody.
Perfect. Thank you.
So the first part of a financial plan is making sure the information I have is correct. Do we know why this is important?
Well, so that you can do an accurate projection?
Correct. The whole thing will be wrong. Yay! So does all of this information look correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And then I've got your assets and liabilities.
Yeah.
So essentially your net financial position is about $1.65 million, including the value of your home. Does that all look correct?
You have that much crypto?
Yeah. I've got about $6,000 in crypto. So my $150 that I get per fortnight, $100 goes into savings and $50 goes into crypto.
To the moon.
To the moon.
Smooth
I have no
brain
idea.
apes? Is that what we call them? Or I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Bored apes,
Yeah.
tired apes.
Huh?
So last time we spoke as well, we completed a risk profile together.
Yeah.
So essentially we decided that you were an aggressive investor, which sounds scary, probably a horrible name for it. We need to change that to like a high growth risk profile or something like that. So an aggressive investor is 95% in shares and property, the fun stuff, but it goes up and down a lot. The other 5% is in cash, really just because we need some somewhere transactional for the KiwiSaver. In a given year, it can go up 34% or go down. It says -24. I'd probably bump that to probably like -30, -35. The beautiful thing about KiwiSaver and what I'd say for all the listeners is if your KiwiSaver balance drops, it's actually a great thing because you're regularly contributing to it all the time. So if it drops 10%, you're just buying everything at a discount. But if the market goes up, everything's more expensive. So the volatility with your regular contributions is absolutely fine. And then we've got what is important to you and your goals. So you tell me if I've got this right. I think your primary objective is to find the balance between enjoying your life now, being able to do more travel, being able to give Lily a head start in life, while making sure that we give Dion the flexibility to decide what he wants to do in the future work-wise. And then Rachel, when you do get to 65, making sure that you can actually retire.
Yeah.
Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah.
Makes
Sounds
sense.
awesome.
Cool. Short-term goals is being able to do the family trips, make sure Lily can go to private schools if you want. Longer term, we've got Dion kind of slowly going down in terms of the working hours. And then Rachel, you have permission to retire at 65.
Thank you.
Not that you will. You'll continue working
We'll
until
see.
you get
We'll
sick
see.
of the classrooms.
Yeah.
Now, you might notice that there is no goal in here of KiwiSaver or property or debt. These are all about your lifestyle and what we want you to achieve. So this is all about you. Those are widgets that help you achieve the outcomes that you want, which is why it's important to understand that.
Yeah.
Next, we're moving to state of play. So state of play essentially talks about all the moving pieces within your situation. So big thing, you got a house worth $1 million. You don't have a lot of debt against it at all, which is a huge opportunity for us, both in terms of how quickly we can pay off your mortgage because you don't have a big mortgage. And obviously, we've got a lot of security that we could be using towards another investment property. Dion, you've said you want the ability to kind of, go and learn different things if you choose to do so. Just having real options down the track.
Having the ability to sort of not have to rely on my day-to-day job would be great. And the likelihood is that if I do end up doing something else, it will more than likely going to be something that's paid anyway. But hey, if it's not paid, that's just as good.
Yep. Awesome. Your priority as well as Lily, being able to give her a head start in life. And we've got these two scenarios. One is the private school fees. The second scenario is selling and moving to a different location. And that's where you spend $500,000 upgrading your home, but there's no private school fees. Then we need to make sure that we have a good look at your KiwiSavers as well, have a look at investment property, and just find a plan that has balance between now and in the future.
Okay. Cool.
Next, we've got your cash flow. So cash flow is everything with a plan. Your cash flow, your income is your fuel that accelerates or slows down the plan. We've said many times there are lots of people who earn a lot of money but spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that actually, what you earn, your expenses, it's all irrelevant. It's this bottom line. What's left over and what else can we do with it? So I've got your after-tax incomes in there, your mortgage repayments, your expenses, which I've increased past what they are at the moment. We've got those investment contributions that you're making right now, the investment property top-ups, and then the surplus, which is going to go towards those additional mortgage repayments. And if we fast forward till age 65, based off the scenario where Dion's hours reduce over time, Lily goes to private schools, and you stay in your current home, inflation adjusted, your KiwiSavers are about 1.4 million. Accumulated savings, which would be invested in shares, is about 1.4 million. And 2 investment properties, the equity is about 2.8 million. Excluding your family home, inflation adjusted, about $5.7 million. I can tell you that can comfortably provide you with an income of like 200 to 250 grand a year throughout retirement, probably without touching the capital as well.
Wow. It's ridiculous, really.
I'm speechless right now.
That's because when you
it's
think,
eye-watering, just that number.
Yeah, because when you normally think about it, you go, oh, well, if I've got $100,000 a year to spend or save, then great. But that's a huge number that we're talking about here, where you've got all of the ability to have not just choices, but go, okay, cool, I'm going to go on holiday for 6 months. You don't have to worry about any of that.
You got to remember as well, that's you spending more on travel than you're spending at the moment.
Yeah.
And sending Lily to private schools, which is like, 35 grand a year for 6 or 7 years. Like, it's not like it's you're sacrificing things. And what this represents is just really options in the future. Does that surprise you, Rachel?
Yes.
Did you not think this is what it would look like? Or you didn't really think about it?
I didn't really think about it. Seeing it on the screen, like in black and white, just figures like that.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really blessed, actually. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we're lucky that we can have that number in front of us and go, actually, in 25 years, we're not going to find ourselves in a, did I do right or did I do wrong? It should be okay. We'll be okay. We'll be more than okay.
Yeah.
And that's probably my thing with, like, say, the cryptos and people taking punts on things is going, what's your highest probability of success to getting to the outcome that you want? And going, well, like, these are pretty low percentage plays. Like, we're going, stick to a budget which allows you to send your daughter to private schools, allows you to travel each year, pay down your mortgage, buy another investment property, and then regularly drip feed into shares. And then, by the way, Dion, you can reduce your hours substantially over the next couple of decades.
Yeah.
Okay, the fuel to help us get to that objective is your budget. So in one of the follow-up sessions, we're going to be going through PocketSmith. So you have set up your PocketSmith account.
Yes, we have.
So we are going to do some training with you next time because PocketSmith has an amazing amount of features, and we want to, I guess, train you on how to use them, the best way to use them, the shortcuts.
Yeah.
There is some really cool stuff, like once you go to, say, New World.
Yeah.
Because, you got $5.7 million come retirement. Of course you shop at New World. You, opposed to like saying New World, New World Iraqi, you delete the Iraqi bit and it will automatically code and categorize all the New Worlds after that.
Oh, wow.
So you just need to learn those sort of things.
Yeah.
And then within the reviews that we'll do, I'll show you the reports that I'm going to look at to make sure you guys are sticking to this because it is really important. Within here as well, if I click on this link, we've got the budget that we took your budget and kind of moved it across into our into our format.
Yep.
So we've got all of the individual line items within there, and then all of the different accounts, which would include the investment property account moving forward as well. Let's talk about the mortgage. So at the moment, I mean, you actually have more like a $300,000 mortgage, but because you've got $100,000 offset, in my mind, you've got a $200,000 mortgage. Some people get scared about having these facilities in place. If you're not paying interest, it just doesn't matter.
No.
The aim of the game is to not be paying interest to the bank.
Yeah.
So as you can see off this projection, you're going to pay off your mortgage over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
The first step is selling down those sharesies. So you can see in year 1, it drops a lot more because you sell down those sharesies to reduce the debt much faster. And then essentially what we need to do is you've got your mortgage repayments you're making.
Yeah.
But then you've got your surplus, and we want to either talk to Mike about setting up an offset or a revolving credit where we gamify it. So if we go, okay, we've got $2,000 spare a month to work with, we want to set up a revolving credit of $24,000 over the next 12 months, and your goal is to knock through that as quickly as you can. And then opposed to and that's the big tip I would say for those people with like $1 million mortgage is what's the goal for the next 12 months? How can you gamify it to make sure you stick to it?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who aren't very good, and we've done a podcast episode on how a revolving credit will destroy your life.
Yeah.
I think you've got the discipline to stick to it, so that's why I'm comfortable with it. Our long-term interest rate assumption, so I've assumed 5.5%. As you know, interest rates are coming down quite a bit at the moment. They're pretty much down to 4.5%. I think it's just better to be a little bit more conservative and assume 5.5% long term.
Makes sense. Especially considering how high it went previously. I think it got up to 7.5, and we spent back in 2012, we were had mortgages sitting around that 7% mark for many, many years. And even now, as you're well and truly aware, we've still got mortgages sitting at 6.9% or 6.69%. It is incredible, the amount of cost across you, really.
Yeah, you're right. So if interest rates are 3% at some point, there's going to be a swing where there's going to be a 7% period at some point as well. Okay, let's jump on to KiwiSaver. So at the moment, you're in the Generate Focus Growth Fund and the Mercer Growth Fund as well. So once again, no particular, I find this in terms of comparing product providers on a live podcast, a bit of an awkward thing to do. But my big thing would be that it's about what's right for you. One thing you've said that is important to you is the ability to receive ongoing advice, a good track record, but also that socially responsible piece came through as well. That's why we're recommending Pathfinder. So all KiwiSaver providers have to do a minimum in the socially responsible space. Pathfinder actually do what we call green screening in as well, where they're not just focusing on companies that are bad and not investing into them, but how can they allocate to companies that are making a positive impact in New Zealand?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So that's why we're recommending Pathfinder. Now, what we've done, which is quite important, is comparing the fund, the asset allocation, the fees, and the 5-year returns after tax and before fees with each of these providers.
Yeah.
There are a few going on because essentially we're comparing some aggressive funds with some growth funds.
Yeah.
Generate's got an incredibly good track record as a provider, as you can see.
Yeah.
Mercer a little bit further behind.
Yeah.
But if you look at, Pathfinder's growth fund is at 9.9% per annum over the last 5 years, which is is a little bit ahead of Generate's growth fund. The Pathfinder high growth fund is pretty much brand new to the market. It's only been around for a few months.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, so it doesn't have that track record.
Yeah.
But the underlying funds are very comparable to the growth fund, which is why we've done the comparison between the two.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is that you can have the socially responsible piece and you don't miss out on returns, which is cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Because Generate has been good to me, I must admit. The returns have been good, but again, the underlying asset allocation, I don't know it as much as I can. The part of the reason I went across to it in the first place was my previous fund provider couldn't identify what was what in there, what they were funding. At least with Generate, I had the opportunity to go, okay, open up and say, okay, they've got 15% of my share that have invested in NVIDIA or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, it didn't really consider the ESG of the fund when I was looking at it in the first place.
Yeah, that's right. And like I said, Generate's a really good provider. We've got a lot of clients that are invested with Generate. It's probably just what's important to you.
Yeah.
Any questions on the comparison bit?
No, it makes very clear. It's nicely put out as well. So
cool. Okay. So just one piece around, I guess, that comparison between investing in shares versus paying down your mortgage.
Yeah.
So if I quickly break it down, is if you make 10% in shares versus your mortgage rate's like 5.5%, be like, wow, 10's more than 5.5. Of course, I'm going to go with the 10. But if you take off fees, you get down to about 9%. You take off tax, you're down to about 6%. You take off inflation, you're down to about a real return of 3%.
Okay.
The squares in the comments section, which they're always coming for me, and I tell them, bring it on. They will go, well, there's no reason that you would pay more than 0.6% for a fund. Even if you round that down a little bit more, you're somewhere between 3 and 4%. You're still better off to pay off your mortgage.
So just wondering about the tax, is that just because of the actual returns on it rather than the actual capital growth?
Well, obviously, so you pay capital. There's no capital gains tax on the New Zealand shares, but you are paying tax on the international shares.
Oh, of course.
And that's why actually, like if you think about it independently, if you look at, and maybe if I scroll down, it's probably a good time to like say, look at, so this is the Pathfinder high growth asset allocation.
Yeah.
You go, well, we've got 19% in Australasian shares.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you have really any exposure to Australasian shares, particularly New Zealand shares, where it's a small island nation where you can be invested into countries with 1 billion people, opposed to 5 million people? The reason is some tax benefits.
Yeah.
So there are there is naturally a local bias towards New Zealand, and then that might be a little bit around if we invest some money locally, New Zealand will become a better place. Yeah. But the tax component's probably quite a big piece.
Okay.
So within this asset allocation, the dark blue is the fun stuff. They're kind of the more aggressive assets.
Yeah.
So we've got Australasian equities, international equities, because the rest of the world is a much bigger place, some listed property, and some alternative assets. Okay. And then within the red, we've just got a little bit New Zealand bonds, international bonds, and some cash. When it comes to the benefits of Pathfinder, so they've got 10,000 clients and $350 million in their KiwiSaver fund. Probably one of the smaller KiwiSaver providers, I would say. But still a really good track record. But the most important thing by far is this investing this ethical investment policy that they've got, which is undeniably the best in New Zealand. And to be able to have exposure to these investments and talk about like the principles of how they think about investing. I just want to make this really clear. This is not an ad for Pathfinder. Pathfinder will definitely be very happy that I am doing this, but this is about the right KiwiSaver provider for Rachel and Dion. And it's very possible that I could have recommended a Kernel High Growth Fund or a Milford fund. It's just about, in this situation, this was the right fund for the two of you. And if we scroll down, what I've done is projected out your KiwiSaver balances come 65. What we have done is increase your contributions for both of you to 4% each. And that's just because the employee and employer contributions are going up over the next few years. Within your balance, Dion, of inflation adjusted 697,000, that is also reducing your income at 45 to 75% income and then 50% at 55. So it is factored in.
And Rachel still have more than you.
Yes. It's not a competition, honey.
No, definitely not.
Sounds like one. So in the last meeting that we had, which was an off-camera one, we talked about what type of property investor that you want to be. And essentially right now you've got a load of equity in your home. You've got this one investment property, which you kind of stumbled into owning essentially. And I did ask you the question around what kind of property investor do you want to be going forward?
And the view was to be quite hands-off. I mean, that's the dream of every property investor, right? To be able to go, okay, hand it off to a property manager and I'll see you in 20 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And ideally, again, it's the old school way of thinking that you're still paying down the debt on it. I know there's a lot of thought around interest only, and hopefully the capital gains gets rid of it. But if you're doing a bit of both, it might benefit in the long run, and it means that hopefully the rental income from the property pays itself off slowly.
Yeah, for sure. So what we have done is, so my job is not to tell you what property to buy. I put like a placeholder property within the projections, and I go, are you better off or worse off with another property in your financial plan? You are better off within the projections to have another property, and the math on it's pretty simple. If you buy something for $700,000, it goes up 5% a year on average over the long term. That's about $35,000 a year in capital gains. If we scroll down at how much you'd have to top up this property, it's about $15,000 at a 5.5% interest rate. So if you put $15,000 down, you get $35,000 back. It's more than 100% return on your money.
Wow.
That's why it's attractive. Are there other ways to make more money in property? Absolutely. Everybody would have seen the episodes we've done with Ilsa, the commercial property episodes we've done with Rethink. But I think the most important thing is to take action, and we can always look at evolving the strategy over time if we want to like further grow the portfolio. So what I'm going to do is, off the back of this, is introduce you to our property director, Adam. He's going to talk you through some investment property options in kind of the townhouse new build space. Townhouses are attractive because essentially they're a smaller parcel of land and the rent is really good in comparison to the parcel of land. People go like, are there too many townhouses within New Zealand and that sort of thing? I think we have to further intensify the houses that we're building. Some of the most important things, which I'm always talking to Adam about on the property side, is that we don't want to be buying in a development where there's like 100 townhouses because it's going to be impossible to rent and it's going to be really hard to sell. We don't want to be buying a property which is really far away from a major centre, which is a huge commute, because they're the ones that are going to perform the worst. So I will take you, do that introduction. You can have a chat to Adam. I'd also tell you to like look at your own stuff, look at Trade Me, and just compare options. The most important thing to me is that this is the outcome is that we do have a property that we would buy and hold over the long term.
Cool. Absolutely.
Any questions on the property bit?
It would be interesting to find out what sort of environments are, and that's something we can talk through with Adam. Sort of go, do you buy in Auckland? Do you buy outside of Auckland? So then you
we never even considered that, buying out of our city. So
but you might get more bang for buck, and we might find something that's cool in Christchurch or windy in Wellington, maybe. I mean, I am buying a bit in Wellington at the moment. I don't mind Wellington. And you can talk through those options. The most important thing to me is the cash flows hit around these levels, and then it is reasonable to assume a 5% capital gain number. If you go and buy an investment property in which part of the country I'm going to hate them, give some hate. Timaru. Say you buy an investment property in Timaru. There's just more risk with a smaller population, right? Yeah, not as many people are going to have employment opportunities there, right? It's no hate to Timaru. It's some of these smaller cities unfortunately have 2 or 3 major employers, and we've seen what's been happening recently with a whole bunch of paper mills and places closing down, and suddenly the whole city sort of throws their arms up in the air and not sure what happens next.
Yeah, for sure. It actually, so your investment property looks slightly cash flow positive, so it does offset that a little bit because that you'll obviously be paying a small amount of tax at the moment. So it does move back to slight negative gearing. Within those numbers as well, we've assumed like rates, insurance, accounting. It could be more than that. That's where we just have to define what the property is, and then we'll just update the numbers. If you buy something for $800,000 instead of $700,000, I'm still happy. It's not like I think you're going to be too restrictive on that side.
And ideally, I'd like to get to the point where the one house ends up covering the overage for the other house. That would be the great situation where and that was hopefully in my mind I was thinking, if one house got cheap enough to be able to go and move into the other one, then absolutely. But then then we can go to okay, our money's not having to be using to top up, but hey, it's all in the numbers, right?
Yeah, that's a very common thing. The first thing I want to do is obviously knock through the owner-occupied mortgage because this debt's all tax deductible. One thing that we could have looked at, maybe Matt on the accounting side will talk to you about, is, you have so much equity in that Manureila property that we could potentially, and once again, I'm not an accountant, definitely should be giving accounting advice. Debt loading is what some people do in this situation, where essentially they sell the investment property to another entity, and that allows them to move the debt on your own home against the investment property. So essentially you become debt-free straight away. I haven't included that in the plan, one, because I'm not an accountant, two, because you're going to be debt-free in your own home pretty soon, and there's costs associated to that.
Yeah.
But we'll just get Matt to double-check that when we have that accounting conversation.
Cool. No, it'll be interesting to see how that all fits together.
Cool. And this is what the projections look like on the investment property over time. So essentially for the first 4 or 5 years, we're just interest only on the debt because we're focusing on paying off the owner-occupied debt.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can see the cash flows, which is that middle graph, that shortfall surplus. It goes up for the first few years.
Yeah.
Any guesses on why it goes up?
Because we import the property or we're waiting for it to be built?
No, we're increasing the rent each year to reflect the market. So it's one really important thing is that obviously, so your expenses will go up as well, but your rent should go up at a larger percentage than your cost because your cost will be less. So it is important that landlords get a lot of hate, but I think they're probably too soft, that you do need to just make sure that they are reflective of where the market is each year. In year 5, the cash flows drop. Any guesses what's happening there?
Year 5? No idea.
You made us buy another property, don't you?
No. Well, maybe, but we'll see in 5 years. You're debt-free on your own home, so we start to make principal and interest repayments. So you can see along with the mortgage graph how it starts to go down at this point.
Yeah.
So while your top-ups go up, it's because that we're starting to slowly clear off this debt as well. And then the equity over time. So this is assuming a 5% growth number less 2% for inflation. So it's actually 3% net growth.
We haven't increased the rent on our rental property.
In 2 years, but what I generally do is when it comes up for renewal in the property manager goes, it's time to review
they
rent.
hassle us,
Yeah, they hassle us, but I jump on Trade Me and I go, okay, in Randwick Park, where the property is, what is the average rent around there? And I grab all of the numbers, I divide it by the number of houses and go, you know what, I'm within less than 5%. I'm usually bang on it. And recently, there's actually been rent drops in the area. So I'm sitting at about where it was. So it did get up to about 630, but now it's dropped back down to about 590.
Yeah.
So so we're probably still fine.
The other thing at the moment is the rental market is pretty soft right now. So I don't think there's going to be many people looking to increase the rents, but everything is essentially swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. Long term.
Alrighty, so I have 3 sets of retirement projections to show you.
Ooh.
Shall we jump into it and have a look? So scenario 1 is the main scenario. So this is where you pay off your mortgage.
Yeah.
So this is what we call your lifetime cash flows. So this is, as you can see, you have no money at the moment in your lifetime cash flows. That's because an investment property isn't considered an asset until you sell it or you get passive income.
Yeah.
You don't have access to your KiwiSaver, and your home is not an asset. Like, we're just trying to focus on paying off the debt.
Okay.
In about 4 years' time, the graph starts to go up.
Okay.
Then it gets a little wonky for a while. Any reason why it gets a little wonky?
Because I quit my job. I didn't quit my job. I reduced my hours.
Yes, the gradient of the curve does change because Dion is doing whatever Dion's going to do, Rachel. I don't really know. That's
Could be more crypto.
Could be more crypto. It could become a crypto bro. And then you can see so we're regularly contributing to managed funds.
Yeah.
And then we've got that. And then we've got the KiwiSaver available at that point. So that ticks up and becomes available. At this point, you are financially free. You are not working.
Yeah.
The graph keeps going up, though. You're retired, you have no income, and the graph goes up. Have you got any idea why the graph might go up?
Because we've still got assets. And they're still going up in value, right? Oh, no, we sold them.
No, so...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing at this
Oh, no,
point.
yeah. Look, it's good you're giving it a go. So the mortgage, as you can see, the mortgage is paid off in 30 years.
Oh.
So once you pay off the mortgage, the cash flows on the investment
Right.
property actually start to go up quite considerably.
Oh,
So within these projections, like our rule is don't sell a property unless you need to, because the only guarantee is property will continue to go up over time.
Yeah.
And that might change as we do reviews and your situation changes. But essentially, you've got passive income from these properties. This graph doesn't represent the value of the properties because you never sell them.
yeah.
Okay.
It just keeps going up. So it means you can choose to spend a lot more money much earlier. You can. This is, I would actually call a problem, a very good problem to have, but essentially it's very inefficient use of capital. So I would say either like you should give more back to your community, you should spend more money now, you should spend more money later, or you should do more for Lily. Like they're really the only option. There was a toy you wanted at some point, Dion.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know.
Nice car.
Yeah.
That at
Going to
65.
Japan. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Don't enable them, James.
Have been called an enabler before, or getting in people's way. It depends on your financial position whether this is good or bad. And I can tell you, I've had a couple of conversations today actually that have been like, sort your shit out. But you guys just need tweaking, and I think that's probably a big part of a financial plan. People kind of go, we're all right, but it could always be better. So I mean, firstly, so the first thing I would say, this is what the future can look like.
Yeah.
Sometimes people look at this graph and think like, job done. You still need to do the things.
Yeah.
Okay. So please make sure you do the things. I will keep you accountable to make sure that you stay on track. And I think there's more upside within. This really just reflects options.
Yeah.
And the big thing about this though is it is underpinned by a hell of a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
So it's underpinned by income assumptions, expenses, Lily going to private schools. It does assume you'll receive New Zealand superannuation from 67, which is a common assumption within our plans. And then we also assume that, so we've got a 3% net real return on your portfolio. And then once you get to 65, we assume you go from like a growth fund to more of a balance fund because you become a little bit more defensive.
Right.
This looks very cool though.
Yeah. So you could nearly, at that point, live off the returns of your investment properties and never touch your KiwiSaver at all.
Yep.
Wow.
More travel. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like we can stick to the plan, we can stick to the expenses right now, but then in a few years' time, especially once we're mortgage free, we might decide to allocate more money to travel.
Yeah.
Especially once we get rid of those nasty school fees.
Yeah.
Retirement scenario 2. So this is where you upgrade your home, which costs $500,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you will not contribute to private school fees for Lily. So if we go up, this graph is about, as you can see, it goes up to about $6 million by the time you're 100. Not like you need $6 million when you're 100.
No, definitely not.
This graph, it goes up to about $4 million. It still looks comfortable. Is there one thing that you can, like if you look at this graph though, and particularly here.
You're worth basically nothing until we got no free cash flow at all. And I guess the one thing that worries me with that is that, do I still have an emergency fund? Because that's looking at that, I'm going, I've got zero money lying around. So you kind of want something there, hopefully.
Yeah. And you could do like offsets to your mortgage and all that kind of stuff. So this is our financial projection software.
Yeah.
The main problem with this scenario, which if people were to go, would it cost me more money to send my child to a private school or upgrade my home?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people would assume that the private school would be more expensive, right?
Yeah.
In this scenario, you've got a mortgage until you are, how old are you? Until 65, essentially.
Wow.
So it is crazy, like not that big of a difference. Now, Dion, obviously you could work for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
You might not take on the investment property. We might look at debt loading against the home.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different ways you can cut this up. And we would, if this was something that you became particularly passionate about in your situation, we could definitely work it out. But it is very interesting to see how big of a difference it makes to the plan. And actually, you can just send Lily, if you like the community that you're in, mathematically speaking, sending Lily to a private school seems to mean you look a lot better off.
The difference is quite, very different.
Okay, and the last scenario we've got for you is this is if you we do like to show you like how quickly you could be financially free.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, Rachel, who knows? You might decide you want to do podcasting full time, or you might be passionate about something else. You might, want options.
Yeah.
Essentially, we've worked out you can both be financially free and not work another day in your life from the age of 52 if you chose to do so. So this is still reflecting Dion reducing his hours at 45.
Yeah.
But then also Dion completely stopping work at 52, Rachel stopping work at 52. This is the scenario where Lily still goes to a private school. Yeah. The only thing we do have to do is sell investment properties in the future. So you've got one being sold at 54 and the other being sold at about 62. Okay. Just so we can release some capital within the plan. Otherwise, you would run out of money. So you might not want to do that, but it is quite it's good to see that as an option. Yeah,
because I guess then at that point you go, well, what would the return on you manage funds? You've got sort of $2 million in managed funds. Return on that would be $100,000 a year before tax. So you'd have to be finding a way to live on $80,000 a year. Well, sorry, a bit less than that, but yeah. No, I mean, it's still possible.
This is assuming you spend $115,000 for the rest of your life.
And that's after tax.
Yeah.
And the likelihood of that.
Good grief.
Well, we spend $115,000 now, but that includes our mortgage. That includes our lifestyle to travel around a lot. Or for work, that includes your travel for traveling around. The likelihood is that, if I think about all my family who's now retired, which is basically all of actually everyone I know, nearly, their life doesn't cost $115,000 a year. They're living the good life, but you know what? It's $60,000, $70,000 a year after tax. That's still a $45,000 difference.
Yeah. And the data that's coming out is that, so this is all inflation adjusted. Yeah. Actually, what happens within retirement, you don't need to inflation adjust your expenses.
No.
Like each year, maybe from 65 to 75, you'll spend more on travel. But once you hit 75, you're just not spending as much money. There's the risk of rest home costs, which I know maybe your age is a little bit scary to think about in the future. But there's a lot of ways that you can mitigate that as well. Obviously, you've got your home, which you can sell or downsize, etc.
And I mean, at 75, you're probably going to live a quieter life. But Rachel's mum's still traveling. I think she's got another trip over to Argentina next year or over to the Mediterranean. She's obviously living the good life in her retirement.
She certainly is.
So, but at the same time,
that's not that far away. 52? My gosh.
So essentially, if we stick to this plan, Rachel, 52 means you have FU money. You want to keep working, you keep working. Somebody pisses you off enough, just walk out the door.
Unlikely to happen for you. More likely to happen for me. But that's okay.
It is more likely to happen for him.
So we've got some other things that are important as we round out the plan. So you've got an up-to-date will. You don't have power of attorney. No. That is important to sort out for property and welfare. Yeah. So I would just recommend when you buy the investment property, do that at the same time. It's probably the most efficient way. You've got a really healthy emergency fund through the offset and through the cash that you've got. So we'll make sure that we keep that in place.
Yep.
You have a gap in your plan around not having income protection. So we're going to get Callum in our insurance team to have a look at that in a future episode. Every plan has risks. So I think sometimes people get a little bit too caught up on the risks. I know that's a weird thing to say, but people don't think about opportunity cost nearly enough. So and the risk of not doing something. So there are a lot of risks within your plan. Obviously, investments fluctuate a lot in value. Your KiwiSaver is not accessible. There's the impact of inflation. You said you're comfortable with an aggressive risk profile, but what if you're not? You freak out, you sell it, there's a risk. Longevity risk, probably not as big of an issue for you because as we saw from those projections, they look pretty good. It's possible your existing KiwiSaver provider performs better than the one that we are recommending. One of the bigger risks within the plan is your expenses. If you spend more than what we've allocated, the projections aren't going to look as good. There's risks around capital gains on property, law changes. Boy, does the government love to tinker with property.
It's their favourite thing to do. And I mean, I'm still, every time he comes to another year of election time, they go, oh, is there going to be a capital gains tax? Is there not? And at this point, you just go, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then nothing happens. And then another 3 years goes away. So I think elections next year. So let's see what happens.
We will see what happens. And, we might have some politicians coming on podcast very soon. We will see. Interest rate risk is obviously a big one. Maintenance risk, tenants, developer risk if you buy a new build, important you buy a good one.
Yeah.
And Dion, if you reduce your hours, obviously you're going to earn less money. Income protection is a risk as well that we don't have income protection.
Yeah.
Disclosures. So as a financial advisor, there are a few things that we need to go through. So this is essentially like how we would normally get paid. So we charge $3,000 plus just for a plan. We're going to do quarterly reviews with you. That's $200 per month or $2,400 plus just over a year. Obviously, you won a competition, so you get me at no cost. Pathfinder charge a fee. So we're donating the first year of essentially the trail that we receive for the first year. And I've also talked to Pathfinder, and very cool, they've decided to donate, they're going to match it as well. So I think they're going to chuck another $900 or something like that into the charity that you've chosen, which Rachel, tell us a little bit about
Cancer Society. So both Dion and I and our families have been impacted by cancer. So, we think it's a worthwhile charity.
Awesome. Very cool. So that will be going their way. There is the Pocketsmith subscription. So $15 a month is an absolute bargain. We're going to cover that for you for the first year. How Lighthouse is paid. So it's very common for financial advisors to get paid like trails or commissions. Some people are very funny about that stuff and kind of being like, are you doing the right thing for me or the right thing for you? It's really just built into the business model that on average we'll receive X amount from customers through just recommending whatever the right thing for them is. And if we didn't have that, we would just increase the plan fee. So it's essentially subsidizing some of the cost of the plan is essentially how it works. So that they pay 0.25% of your KiwiSaver balance. They pay that, you don't pay that. So with or without an advisor, you're paying the same fee. The other disclosure that's not in the plan but probably quite relevant is, so obviously you're going to be talking to the mortgage team, the accounting team, the property team, the insurance team. I've obviously got conflicts of interest that I think they're all really good. I do have a conflict of interest with the property business in particular because the wealth business owns a portion of the property business. So it's really important that you know that. Obviously, a lot of our clients like working with all the parts just because it's really easy for them. The conflict is on the other teams is, why do I recommend them over another accountant or mortgage broker or something like that? Obviously, it's very easy for us. They're very good, and it makes our lives very easy. So,
and from my point of view, and from Rachel's point of view, the trying to deal with multiple parties makes things really difficult. And that's what generally happens is you walk into a situation going, I know I need to do something, but I have to deal with a mortgage broker, and then I have to deal with an accountant, and then I have to deal with a lawyer, and then an insurance broker, and you just become overwhelmed. And then what ends up happening is you do nothing.
That's the whole thing. So thank you. We will make sure we pay you for that endorsement. So a couple other things. So I'm paid a salary, but I'm also a shareholder in the business. So it's just important you know how I get paid. We've got a complaints process. The complaints process is really important for financial advice. Essentially, you can have little old Mary who's got a financial advisor and might not like the advice she's been given. It's important that she's an independent way to complain. So obviously, we hope you tell all of your friends that James is a great guy. You gotta go talk to James. But in terms of for the industry, it's important that you've got an independent way to go. I mean, if you didn't like me, geez, I've misread this situation a lot.
Otherwise, I hear they go to no reply at lighthouse.co.nz.
No. And the last bit is, as advisors, we do have a code of conduct. We swear on it every day as we walk into the building. It pretty much talks about how we have to put your interests before our own and use due diligence and skill in terms of the advice that we provide. So I know I've talked a lot. in this. Thank you for persisting through it. So essentially the next steps are I'm going to send you the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are going to read the plan.
Yeah.
That is an important part. Now,
Okay.
you'd assume that always happens. Every once in a while, I'm like, so what do you think of the plan? They're like, yeah, good,
Like, there was a
good.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please read the plan. There are no silly questions. And then essentially the next time we catch up, which will be the next podcast episode,
Yeah.
I will answer any questions that you have.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we will move towards implementation because a plan is just words and projections. You don't get rich from a plan. You get rich from doing something with it. I'm going to wrap it up there. I will send you the plan. Then we will reconvene to answer the questions you have and move forward from there. Much love to Pocket Smiths for sponsoring this episode. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, give us a review, give us a like, and we'll catch you next time.